Logic gang, what's good? Just Divine, back with another Logic Pro X tutorial. Shout out to Big X. He commented and asked a question on one of my videos. What advice can you give when creating jazzy Summer Walker type chords? Like creating tension and resolving the chords. So for those of you who don't know, when you're playing chord progressions and your keys are close together, that is called tension. Now, whenever you have tension, you have to resolve it. That tension and that resolution or resolve, it transitions and creates a really dope sound. So I'm going to make an attempt at explaining it. I may not understand all of the technical terms like the fifths, the sevenths, the ninths, and the diminishing and augmenting and all of that type of stuff. All of the logistics of creating, the musical terms, but I'm going to try to explain it the best way I can to my understanding. We're going to start with, let's open up Analog Lab. Just get a typical piano going. So let's get a piano. Let's get a jazzy piano. Now, we're going to start with very simple chord progression. Most R&B is written in major. So if you don't know music theory, the easiest way to, stay in scale is to just start on your root note C and stay within all of the white keys. Now, I was watching another video and another really dope chord progression. The 2, the 5, the 1 is a really nice chord progression. And if you don't know music theory, the easiest way to explain or follow your chord progression so that you're staying within key is to just start on your root note C. So rather than building your chord starting on root note C, which would be the 1, we're going to bring it up and start on the next note in that scale, which would be the D. So this would be 1, this would be 2. Next key will be the G. And then we're going to go back down to the 1. Let's listen to what it sounds like. All right, that's our bass note or our bottom note of the chord progression. And to simply build, all we're going to do is skip every other note within the scale. Now remember, we're following all of the white keys. That's the easiest way to make sure that you're staying. As long as you're starting on C, every note in this every note within this scale is going to be, you're going to be utilizing your white notes. So therefore you can never get out of key. We're just gonna skip every other note. Let's take a listen. Naturally, if you're playing this, you wouldn't be playing and shifting and jumping from this chord to that chord. So this is where voicing comes into play. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this top note and I'm going to invert it. So that's more of a natural transition when you're playing these chord progressions. You want to make it as natural as possible. And another thing I like to do is I like to augment and diminish my chords. So all you're doing is you're taking the third note of your triad and you're going to drop it down 1. So when you drop it down 1, that's diminishing the chord. Now if I was to augment it, that's raising it up. So but I want my chord progression to be diminished. So I'm gonna add another note right here to give it a little more body. Nice, nice, nice. So let's fill up our frequency range. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just copy, hold an option, copy it, hold. This is not the sound I wanted. Grand piano, that's what I wanted. Let's go to this. There we go. We got the first half of this chord progression done. Now we're going to do the second half. Now in the second half, you want to make little minor adjustments so that the chord progression doesn't sound too repetitive and that the listener doesn't get bored while listening to it. So we're going to go and we're going to start with the same chord progression that we previously had. Only difference is I'm not going to augment it, just going to play it regular. And just like I did with this chord progression, so that the listener doesn't get bored, and to also add more dynamics, more frequency range, more voicing, I'm going to add. Let's add this note. Let's add that note. Like so. We're going to do the same exact thing. Take this same chord progression and we're going to add a few more notes in it to give it a little more body. Let's add the E. Yeah, I think I'm going to just leave that as is. Copy this chord progression. We're going to shorten that one. Just to add another note to give it some slight variation. And I think for the last chord, since I augmented this chord, since I diminished this chord, I want to drop down to the A. That's the J. Drop down to the A, and I think I want to augment that chord. So that would be a normal triad for that, because we skipped every other note. But because I want to augment it, it's a combination of tension release, and trying not to, follow like here, like we didn't follow the every other note in the scale to create the chord progression, and that gives, it's all about voicing, and it's your expression. It's kind of hard to take what's in my mind and in my head and relay it, because what's in your head, and that's the beauty of it. What's in yours, it's your expression. That's why I live by that saying: if it sounds good, it is good. If to you it sounds good and it's not necessarily following the rules, you're breaking it, but you're still within the parameters to where as though the listener can listen and enjoy it, and take away something from it. And it's all about emotion, and expression. So let's listen to what this sounds like. Like right now, this is a bit robotic. Everything is snapped on the grid. They have a really good humanization function within Logic. But what I like to do is I like to draw it. I like to adjust everything as if I was playing it, because if I place my fingers on the keyboard, I'll place my hands on there, and simulate as if I was playing those notes, and I'll look at what finger is hitting first, and what fingers are giving more pressure, what fingers are giving less, and I would try to implement that into this. So this is what I'll do: is I know my right hand, so these notes would be normally played with my right hand. These two notes would be normally played with my left hand. My left hand, uh, let's drop this down some so that plays slightly lower. What did I just do? Now, I know if I was playing, my pinky finger would be on this note. So that'll be hitting first. That'll be, my thumb will be hitting second, and my index finger, which would be on the F, would be hitting next. And you just want to simulate how you would play. Yeah, this was a bit delayed. And pretty much that's all you're going to do for each and every last one of them. We also want to do the tail end of your notes too, so that, you know, they're not all ending at the same time, and so forth and so on. And because we're in the C major scale, all you're doing is you're going to transition your notes so to the scale that you want until you find something that you want. So you might not like the C major. All you're going to do is hold Command, push A. That's going to select all of your notes. Hold Option, press down, and press up or down, and that's going to pretty much take you in and out of whatever scale you want to be in. So off cam, I went on and I adjusted the length of my notes, the velocities, and tried to humanize this chord progression the way I would play it. I also dropped it down by 4 semitones, so I'm now in, I want to say, G sharp major, and this is what that chord progression sounds like. Dope, 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 dope. So remember, if you're not a subscriber, please remember, subscribe. It helps the channel out tremendously if you would just give us a like, turn on the post notifications. That way you're notified whenever we upload new content. If you are a subscriber, I want to thank you for returning and watching yet again another video. I hope that I was able to impart something that you can implement into your own workflow and into your own work productions. I appreciate every last one of you. Help us get to help us get to 3,000 subs. I didn't think that I would get to 2. I got to 2. I would appreciate it if you guys would help me get there. Remember, if it sounds good, it is good. Stay safe. Be blessed. Peace.